Okay, so I was working on this sort of training video, and uh, everything started freezing and saying there was a memory problem. It's so bad that Illustrator ultimately crashed. So let's start this over. What this is when we make a try or SWB try flat file or PDF file for someone like Megado for the three plastics that we sell that aren't clear. That file is just for one of those three, and so we have to make the PDFs for the other two because their template shape or die cut shape is different. The other two are more of a curved shape. See how this one's slightly curved? So that's all this is copying the original that we use for one of those and making the other two kind of match it. So we're doing the 15 ounce first, and I'll show you in this case. Oops, I didn't mean to open Photoshop. Let's hope it doesn't crash. Let me try closing it. That was an accident. In the email, you can see that they basically just said they need PDF files for plastics, and they gave me a path to this school. And the only one we currently had was the SWB TRI. That's how it should be, because when we make these brochures, we just use that one to make the mock-ups. But we actually do need the 15 ounce and the 24 ounce. So you can see in the folder I've already made the empty folders for those, and then I opened the try file which we already have made. Uh, Let me close Photoshop. It still decided to open. I think it was hogging all the memory earlier. That's why I closed it. So what I did is open that original one, and then inside our template folders, there's a folder called PDF Flats that has the 15 ounce and the 24 ounce. Um, and because of memory issues, I don't want to open both at once, but normally you would just have them all open to work on. But we're doing the 15 ounce first. So all I did was copy over this original SWB try file that we already made into the template for this, so I can just pull from it side by side. I deleted the template logo, which there was a logo in there, and now what we're going to do is just make it match. So you double click on the banner, which this gray line popping up is because I'm inside of a sort of masked, I think it's when a layer is masked or it's a clip group. And I didn't do that. That was someone else. I don't even know why it's done that way. We could try deleting that and adding a fresh layer, but for whatever reason, they just have it in there. So you double click it. This signifies that you're inside that clipping group, and then you can click it again to exit the group, but it will remain selected because all you wanted was to select that banner. So then you hit the letter I key for eyedropper, and then you eyedrop this banner to copy the color over there. And you do the same thing for the font. You're just going to eyedropper it to copy it over. And then you're just going to change the text to what the new one says, which is go Yellow Jackets. And you may have to resize that. I believe this is already in the video, but you're getting it again because everything. Oh, you know what? No, I deleted that video and started over. So no, you won't. You haven't seen this twice. I have said it twice, but I forgot I deleted the bad video. So now for the background, use the direct selection tool. Click on the one that's over there and hover over this, and you can see what it's called, which is it's in grungy and it's the 505 maroon. So then use the same direct select tool to select this one, click it, relink it, and go into the backgrounds folder, which should be linked in your computer on the quick links. In under grungy, look for 505 maroon and open that, and it should pop up in here. And so then you just need to copy the logo over, and there's only one more step after you copy that over. So you highlight just the logo and bring it over, and you probably will have to size it down a bit for this template. Maybe a little more. It really is a large. This is a very awkward, ugly logo. It has too much text in it. but that's what they wanted. So you kind of can line, this is one where the grid actually is fairly accurate, so I usually do kind of line it with that. And one thing I'm going to go ahead and delete this first. One thing that we do on these curved ones is we arc it, particularly because of the text, but also the logo, because when it wraps around the plastic, it will look a little warped if we don't arc it. So on the 15 ounce, the amount of arc that you use is only 2%. So all you're going to change is where that 50% that's highlighted is, you just change it to 2. And this is for regular arc on horizontal, which regular arc is the default horizontal, and then this just changes to 2%. On the 24 ounce, you change it to 4%, but for now, we're only on this one, so 2%. Click OK, and all that did was slightly curve the text so that it matches the curve of the template. And that's it. This one's done. We just need to save it down as first as the AI file and then as the PDF files for them in the back. So that'll just take a second to do. I need to check. I've already forgotten what distributor this is. I think it's Adrenaline. Yeah, Adrenaline, and it's Kermit. So there's the 15 ounce folder I made. Let's just, this was recovered because the software crashed. So it's gonna always have recovered in the name until I close this out. Or open a new file. So it's Kermit. In this case, we don't need to type the full name because this is just for us, basically. Saved that. Once it's going to take a second. Once it does that, we just need to save it as the 2 PDF files, one with die line and one without die line. So I'm just giving it a second to do that. It's been very, very slow today. So now we go to save as. We've got the die line still up, so we're just doing with die line, and we're doing PDF this time. And on the options for the PDF, do high quality print, click off preserve Illustrator editing, and click on embed page thumbnails, and then save. And once that saves, you turn off the die line. Whoops. You gotta give it a second to save. So there should be, for the die line, it's one of these, I think it's guide on group. It's group. It's not labeled as die line, that's for sure. So you might have to mess with the file. Some of these older files have different labeling in here, so anyway, once you get that turned off, you save it and you write without die line. Just make sure it should keep the settings from that one we just saved, so everything's still good. And you just save, and so that one is done. The only other one we gotta do now is the 24 ounce. Whoops. Let's hope that didn't mess it up. Let's double check that folder real quick. It's been very buggy today. So we are good to go there. It looks like there was some hidden layers behind this, and that's probably why there's memory problems. I don't know, some of these older files are just really messed up. They did some crazy things in the past. But for now, we're continuing on to the 24 ounce. So we're going to copy over the old one again. And we're basically going to do exactly what we just did, but on this other template. So I'm pasting in here. And we're going to start with the banner. Well, let's start by deleting the old logo. That's what I usually do, because it's just in the way. So delete all that. Then select the banner, double click to get to it, and then you can turn that off. And then eyedropper with the letter I. And then do the same thing. Select this font. use the eyedropper on the font over there. Change the text to match. Let's see. That's about right. Then you're going to, we already know that the background was 505 maroon and it's grungy, so we just need to navigate to that after going to direct selecting and then relink up there. Go to the backgrounds folder, grungy 505 maroon. So it should fill in there, and then we just need to copy the logo. Or actually don't copy it, just drag it over once you select it. Shrink it down so it's not so huge. And we will kind of center it. And we need to arc this one with a 4% arc. So effect, warp, arc. Leave the default on horizontal and arc, and then change this to 4%. And then hit OK. And it should be curved about right. And then we just save as an AI file in the 24-ounce folder that we made. Oops, I keep going to the wrong folder for some reason. There we go. 24-ounce. Change the name to Kermit with die line. And we're going to save this and then the 2 PDF files that we need to save also. So I'm just giving it a second to save. It always does this. And then we will do the PDFs. Okay. So save as a PDF. And with die line. And make sure you change it to high quality print. Turn off preserve Illustrator editing. Turn on embed page thumbnails, and then save. And then turn off the die line. Which is titled path in this particular one. You may have to hunt for it like that. Then save as. It's PDF still, and just type without die line. Save, and it should keep your settings from the previous one, so they're the same. Save, and now we're done. And that's all you need to do on those PDF. The ones where they say they need PDFs, it's usually talking about those. Now, the best thing to do would be to check whatever the brochure was, because in some cases, one of these will be the SWB 20, which is that clear design bottle we have, and the PDFs for that have to be done totally different from these. So you just check on here, and this is the 3 that are regular flat color files. If this one was the SWB 20 clear, the special one that's a newer one we make with clear plastic paper, then you would have to do that file differently, and I've already made, I believe, a video on that, how to do that. So you do have to pay attention. The best thing to do when you see we need you to make PDFs is go in here and check. in the office they have an envelope for the PDFs, and I think on the envelope paperwork it will have the names of these. But even then, if you just look at the file, you can see what we have on it, so you can check visually what's in the brochure. But yeah, so that's it. We save this down, and now we can close the original, and that's it. I will go ahead and email her and say that they are done. In the office, you would bring the envelope to the back printer. There's a tray for it. So I think due to COVID, they were trying to change whether we bring, cross paths with people in the back. In other words, they were trying to change so that people didn't go back and forth between different areas and different people. So they may have changed where you take that envelope, or if you even take it back there at all now. I just email, when they're done. So that's a new policy because of COVID. We'll have to see what they're doing now, what the game plan is. So I'm just going to say these PDFs are ready, and as a courtesy, you can also link directly to the folder. Honestly, Diana knows where they are, but just for the sake, just in case this email needs to have it for someone else, you could always, I just paste that address in there to where that folder is, and then send it. And that's it. We're done. So that's it for that one.